Welcome to The Passion Pod with your host, Chris Johnson. Thanks for joining us. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the feature presentation.
Season 1, Episode 1.
Welcome, friends, to the very first episode ever of the Passion Pod. Today, the hype is unreal. Our first guest kills flows, wrecks foes, and slays shows. Hang around with flow like his and homies? That's the ticket. The one, the only Miles BLVD.
Hello, dude. That was quite the intro. I appreciate that, man. How's it going?
So good. I'm so excited for episode 1. This thing's going to be amazing. It's going to set the tone for something great to come.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's been a long time coming. I'm excited. This is cool.
I've been throwing out the little teasers to people. People have been stopping the shop asking what is this magical thing? And I'm like, dude, you're just going to have to wait. It's coming this November.
Just be patient. Be patient.
So Miles, how can people follow you?
So on every social media, I would be at Miles BLVD. That's BLVD, Miles BLVD. And you can find me on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, pretty much everywhere you get your music. You can find me on.
What's the best way for somebody to contact you?
I'd say Instagram probably. That's my main platform that I'm usually occupying.
So let's take this back. I know that you've been singing and stuff for a long time. What is the first musical performance that you can remember being a part of?
Being a part of? Oh man. Oh wow. That I remember being a part of ever was a play for my church growing up.
Sick. How old were you?
I was probably 12 or 13, and I wasn't super into going to church, but my parents made me go. I love to sing, so I was with the choir and everything, but I did a program. I can't even remember the name of it right now, but I was a sheep in the play. And yes. I wore this costume every single time we had to practice, and I was so embarrassed. I hated every moment of it. My mom has a picture framed at her house of all of us kids as sheep, and I'm just so pissed in the picture.
From a young sheep to a cottonmouth king.
Straight up.
So let's talk about the transformation then. What was the first concert you attended?
Oh, first concert. That was Soundset 2014.
Quite a few years later after that, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't go to many shows growing up, honestly, which kind of sucks, but making up for it now. But
sure.
Yeah, that was the first one. That was right after I graduated high school. I went there with a bunch of homies. It was amazing. It was a life-changing experience, I'd say.
In what way?
That event is where I kind of had my epiphany of damn, this is what I want to do. This is the scene that I want to be around, and this is nice.
That's when you stopped singing like a sheep, and that's when you started thinking rap, you mean?
Yeah, something like that. Well, I was rapping for a couple years prior to that, but it wasn't I'm gonna do this, this is the path I want to go down. It was more so just having fun with friends, making little mixtapes and
sure
recording, and just it wasn't serious until that moment. Yeah.
How long did it take you from that moment before you put out your first track?
I was already putting out music at that point, but I was working a lot on. I'm an album guy, I feel now the market is kind of centered toward singles.
Right.
It's definitely more marketable, but I'm an album guy, so I'm always about crafting this really nice project that's this cohesive thought, So I've always been doing that. So I was already working on this big project. I got to the end of it, and I was like, you know what? I don't like this, and then decided to scrap it, and then just kept working and working. So I was dropping singles, but it took about 2 years to actually drop a project.
Walk me through this, right? You're at this concert and you get inspired by it. Well, first, explain, besides just going to a concert, what was it that really inspired you about the concert?
I'd say just how communal it was. The moment that it really hit me was when Mac Miller was on stage and he was performing the song Watching Movies. I just remember looking at the crowd and seeing about 30,000 people just all in unison singing the same lyrics, and just this beautiful sea of people all come together for this common passion. And I don't know, that just really inspired me, in that moment, I was like, I could be that person. I want to be that person that brings all these people together. You know, I've been doing this rap thing for a couple of years, and I think I could really take it somewhere dope, and I'm gonna do it. Like that's what's gonna happen now.
You basically saw someone doing everything you could imagine yourself doing, and it was like, I got to take myself a little bit more seriously here. I have the potential to do something a lot grander than fucking around with my friends making mixtapes.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah.
So where were some of your inspirations? Was it just Mac Miller? I mean, he must have been some of your inspiration. Were there other rappers and stuff that you kind of looked up to or still look up to?
Mac Miller, for sure. Kanye West was a big time influence.
He's a character, but it's hard to deny his music, that's for sure.
Oh my gosh, he's just one of the best of all time. Tupac and Biggie Smalls fan. Big L, Outkast, just like kind of the
Andre 3 Stacks.
Dude, just so good.
Yeah.
Word on the street, he might be dropping a solo album.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
That's the rumor. That would be a game changer. Anyway,
so walk me through. You scrapped this whole like album thing you were working on, and because you went to the show and you're like, dude, I can do way better than this. Mm-hmm. So from that moment, right, until approximately 2 years, you said it took for you to make that album. How did that process go? Did you like throw away every song? Do you just pick up a, notepad and paper like an 8 Mile and sit there with your hood up? Like, how's that? Walk me through in general how that process works, because I have no understanding. I've never done that before. Yeah,
I would go to record music and then I'd sit with it, and most of it at the time, because I was progressing a lot in my sound. Like I was finding my voice, finding my confidence, as an artist. A lot of the stuff was dope, but it just didn't meet like the standard that I held myself to. And so I was progressing really quickly. And so I was like, this doesn't really match where I'm at. Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't feel good about it. So I just kind of scrapped a lot of music, like probably over like 20 songs.
Jesus. But so making that first album then, like how's the process work for that? Do you write first and then do you find like a beat for it and then you... Like, how's the process of even like making it go? Do you have a whole like list of it's going to be this song, then this song, then this song? Do you kind of figure that out later?
The more I work with more people, like I realize that everyone kind of does this process differently. But me personally, I like to map out the project first. So I'll get like my first project, Moonlight Drive. I started with one beat, and that's the last song. Actually, I had the last song first. That sound, I was like, okay, this sound, I want to be like the representation of the project as a whole. Like I want it to just kind of be a offshoot of this kind of sound, like kind of like some spacey soul trap shit mixed with boom bap. I don't know, just like a blend of a lot of different things. But I started with that and then just found beats that kind of fit that image and sound, and curated this like skeleton, if you will, and just fill in the blanks afterward, after I have like the order and kind of the sound that I want. I feel like a beat, if it's going to be dope, like should tell its own story.
Sure.
Something you could listen to over and over. It's powerful enough to paint a picture in your head. If you take something like that dope and put lyrics on top of it, it's just like that's bound to be something.
Just making it even better.
Like.
So you find the first beat basically, and then you find a bunch more that you think fits as a whole big picture, and then you write all the lyrics afterwards.
Yeah.
When does it come to like performing and stuff for that? Because you don't perform the whole album, right?
Right. Not usually. No, not as like a full experience. Right. Front to back. I'll pick and choose depending on like the vibe of the show. Who else is performing, kind of cater to what I would assume the crowd kind of likes, depending on the other artists and the vibe of the show. But I wouldn't say I necessarily start with like the first song first, but yeah, like I generally like curate a certain sound and attitude. I work on like a bunch of different projects at once, just to help the creative juices, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
When do you actually record it then?
At the end, after it's all written.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just so I can have it like memorized and just dialed in and just kind of really comfortable and like a full thought.
I suppose because you want your best performance to be the one that's recorded, right?
Yeah.
The one that people are going to listen to the most.
Yeah.
So that means you have a bunch of songs that you already have done, you just haven't recorded yet. That's why we haven't heard them.
Yep.
Rad. Looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah. I actually, I have the date scheduled to record my next album right now. Like, it's solidified. We're getting in the stew. We're gonna live in there for a couple of days, and it's gonna be really fun.
To give the listeners a little bit of a taste of what's to come, what's one of your song choices of something that is one of your own that you want to listen to right now?
One of my own, I would say the song Ramones. Yeah, Ramones is my jam. That was made with my friend Kate McGarvey and Justin Anderson. It's just like a fun, uplifting, good vibes track.
This that $100,000 type of feeling. Throw your hands up to the ceiling. I've been counting Morgan healing from the job that's always stealing. All the time we have to give, only get one life to live. I'ma spend it with my team. Picture perfect beauty queen at my side. Let me ride, Larry bumping out the fusion. Medication for the function, rolling up with no confusion. I've been chasing hella crowds, got my head up in the clouds. I just wanna make you proud.
Baby, show me what you do. Show me who you are. Darling, tell me if it's true. I heard that you're a star. Girl, you gotta keep it real. Go with what you feel. Baby, show me what you do. I'm just taking in the view. Yeah, okay. Everybody from the front to the back, to the rail, to the whack, from the white to the poor, to the rich, to the black, never back down. From anybody wanna smack down. Ain't nobody gonna crack down in my groove, in my dank. Ain't nobody make a move on my bank. Ain't nobody gonna roll on my tank. Ain't nobody gonna pull from my drink. I've been living so back and forth and side to side. A motherfucking mastermind who can't decide shit. Last in line, I pass the time by looking at an asinine. You asinine, quit acting like you styling, bruh. Your game is tired, bruh. We out here wildin', bruh. Baby, show me what you do. Show me who you are. Darling, tell me if it's true. I heard that you're a star. Girl, you gotta keep it real. Go with what you feel. Baby, show me what you do. I'm just taking in the view. All day, all night, I've been alright. All day, all night, I've been feeling out of sight. All day, all night, I've been alright. All day, all night, I've been feeling out of sight.
What's the inspiration behind that song, man?
Oh, the inspiration behind that song. Actually, I was on an airplane flight back from visiting family in Maryland. Just visiting my grandma, my grandpa, and I just thought about, I make a lot of music that I don't think that they would really like get down with per se. And so the inspiration for that song is like, I want to make a song that I think that my grandma and my mom could just like dance to and just really connect with. And it kind of has like a disco vibe to it, and I feel like it's really up their alley and just something that is more wholesome.
That's one of the things that I've noticed, though, is with your music, it's not just some trappy like beat that's really the same from song to song. You have a lot of kind of jazzy, just a lot of different stuff, for each different one, which is one of the things I really look for in the different rap music that I listen to. Like I like MF Doom a lot. And his like instrumentals are vastly different from song to song, and they don't sound like pretty much anybody else's. That stuff like stands out to me a lot.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
So this was probably a while ago, but what was the first song that you wrote?
Oh, man. The first song. Oh, wow. The first song that I wrote ever was a song called The FCM Anthem with my homie Ike. And it was just about like our high school. And it was so bad. It was so cheesy.
I was going to ask what FCM is, but that's Fall Creek what?
Fall Creek Mafia, bro.
Oh,
Cringe worthy. We were probably like 15, 16.
dude, you got to start somewhere. I wish we could hear that. You probably don't have that anywhere you can share.
No, that is kept in the vault.
Well,
no one's going to hear that. But that's, you got to start from somewhere.
well, absolutely. And now you made a whole bunch of progress because you just played you opened for Twista not that long ago, and then you just did that So Far show. I mean, you've been doing a ton of shows, so clearly people are fucking with your shit. You just opened for Dessa too the other day.
Yeah, dude, that was so much fun. That was such a fun show. Twista was sick. Yeah, man, a lot of cool shit's been happening. A lot of cool stuff is in the making. Things have been moving really quickly lately, and it's been really fun,
What do you want to plug? It sounds like you want to plug something.
Not yet. I can't say anything yet.
All right.
But there's some cool shit happening.
Well, let me ask your professional opinion on this.
Okay.
Where do you feel music's headed with the financial success of albums pretty much disappearing? What do you think the main thing that artists coming up should focus on?
Definitely singles. It's a singles market now. Like that it's easier to market something, kind of create a pitch, a theme. I don't know.
What about anything else coming up? Like if you wanted to give advice to somebody who's just kind of trying to start out, like should they try to seek out doing open mics? Should they focus on trying to find the right beats or collaborating with people? Like what's some general advice you would give people?
It's hard because like everyone's path is a little different, like there's
Right.
not like a set like roadmap of like do this, and this, and then you'll be an artist. It's just like definitely networking. I think having community, having people behind you and that support you and understand where you're coming from and what you're trying to do is really important. As well as, open mics, like you said, like that's a great way to kind of bust your chops a little bit, learn your voice, learn how you perform and how you do in front of people. And I found growing up that like the smaller the show, it's a lot harder to actually perform with like 3 people in the room versus like, 100. Like that actually is easier because it's more intimate with 3 people and you have to like entertain that, but yeah, other basic stuff like networking.
I feel like a big thing, and I heard this from a different musician was talking to me about it. Like if you just go to other people's shows and you go to these open mics and stuff, you end up just kind of being a part of the community, and then you'll get honest feedback from your peers and they'll want to see you grow. So they'll want to help you and you'll be more motivated to do it, and you'll be less nervous because you're going to be around people that you've met before and people that have your best interests at heart. Yeah. And naturally you're just going to get better that way. And as you show that you're doing your absolute best, people are going to connect with that anyways, and more doors will open, more connections will be made. That seems to be the best way to go about a lot of things related to art, whether it's music or painting or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree. Eau Claire especially has a really like welcoming community in the arts. And yeah, just getting out there, getting your name exposed, open mics are great, going to shows, going to different events where your peers will be there, just becoming relevant in the scene,
So as you look at like how everybody else is doing things, obviously you want to emulate certain people and whatnot, but like you said, you have to kind of find your own voice. There's always going to be a lot of different pressures, whether it's sponsors that you have or like the venue that they want you to do or the particular event they want you to do. But in general, there's going to be pressures to kind of fit you into certain molds, which kind of dumbs down everything, I think.
Yeah.
How do you stay true to what it is that you want to do and represent yourself in the way that you want to represent when you have those pressures kind of pushing you in different directions?
I mean, I think there's a fine line of being influenced by people and copying people, So it's just about trying to find like who you are and what you want to represent. Me personally, I just want to make what I think is dope music that hasn't really been heard yet, while like carrying on the traditions and like what I like to see in rap represented.
Well, I mean, it makes sense, right? Like if you had already heard it before, what the fuck's the point in making it again?
Right.
Like it already exists. The point is to take a new spin on something that maybe already has been done, but you're doing it in a different way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's authentic. Something personal.
Right. Something that represents you, and that hopefully other people will feel like they'll identify with that. You know, there's just something new, some new little flavor. It's okay if it has like some remnants of the past. And a lot of times, like, that's a good thing anyways. It's pretty hard these days to do something that's like completely out of left field that nobody's ever seen. It happens, you know, but pretty rarely. It's nice when you can just see something. And that's typically how it works, right? You listen to something on Spotify, you listen to an artist that you do like. Well, how do you discover new music? They play something similar to that. You know what I mean? And then you end up finding somebody that you're like, this is exactly what I want. I love this.
But are also like very different from the artist that you were just listening to, who's like similar but very different.
What's your favorite thing about being an artist? Is it the shows or making new tracks, networking, traveling, all the fame? Like, what's your favorite thing about it?
Definitely not the stardom and the fame yet. But I'd say traveling, honestly. Traveling and meeting new people, going to different regions and kind of tapping into the cultures there and just like being in new places, you know, performing for people that haven't heard you before. It's so cool going to places that you've never been because you can just be yourself. You don't know anyone. There's no expectation. You just go and perform and just live.
Sounds like you need to be on the road with a new album at some point.
Yes, very soon. Very soon that's going to happen.
So where have some of the places you've been to? Like, where have you gone?
I went on a small mini tour last year, coast to coast. Started in California and Los Angeles, and then stayed there for about a week, and then flew to New York. And then from New York, we traveled to Baltimore. From Baltimore back to Wisconsin and played a closing show here.
Sick. Who'd you go on tour with?
My man Raheem Miles out of California. Oh, he's so sick, dude. He just actually dropped a new project called Action Figure Miles, and it's really dope. But we did some shows. They sold out in LA and New York. That experience was just eye-opening for sure. Just like finding yourself and being a young adult traveling unsupervised, getting into all kinds of crazy. Yeah, and just being around like-minded people was really cool. Like, you know, like it was super rad just chilling in a house with like 25 people, a bunch of artists. We just killed the show together, and we're all just sleeping like 3 people to a couch, people on the floor. Everyone's just like just chilling, you know, like there was something about it is very just like communal. Well, you kind of just answered this question, so you're going to have to come up with another one. Sure. But I want to know what some of the significant moments for you have been so far in your journey. For me, I've had a lot of them. They happen all the time. From the opening day of my shop to having my logo on a shoe. When you care so much about what you're working for, the journey can be kind of gnarly. Like you have all these really crazy moments. You're so personally invested that you have these really, really not nice moments either. Mm-hmm. But what are some of the bigger moments for you that you remember? Well, definitely going on tour, like I just mentioned earlier this year, I got to open for R.A. the Rugged Man, and that was like a really cool personal milestone. Where did you open for him at? At the Plus in Eau Claire. Rugged Man was in Eau Claire? Yeah, dude. God, I know they're killing it lately. He's the man. I've been a big fan of his for a while. I wish I would have known he was in Eau Claire. I need to pay more attention to his shit. Dude, he's sick. When I first started rapping, I would really like study his flow and just like, to me that's rapping, you know what I'm saying? Like he's killing it. And so to be able to say that, like when I first started like studying someone to like chilling with them, doing a show with them, like to me that was just like a really cool moment. It's like things are coming full circle. You know, it's kind of like coming to life. I had a similar thing like that in the shop too, actually, where you know, I'm a young kid watching I used to collect skateboarding videos. I had like over 100 DVDs. Like I worship pro skateboarders. To me, you know, they're bigger than actors. Like they're the celebrities in my mind as a kid or whatever, right? Yes, definitely. And so I'd watch all these videos. I know every pro, you know, and I think it was even less than a year after I had my shop. It really wasn't that crazy long. Steve Nesser and Tabari Cook, 2 pro skateboarders. Steve Nesser was actually pro for Tony Hawk's company, Birdhouse, for a long time. They both just like came to my store to deliver a couple boards, sign them, and hang out and check it out. Yeah. And I was like so starstruck. And it was the same thing. It was that full circle of like,
I grew up worshiping these people, and they're at my store now just to like show their respect and like be, you know, kind of welcoming. And it was so rad.
Yeah. That's so cool, man. That's so cool. It's so special just to see like, man, this hard work is being acknowledged by the people that like I think are dope. Like that's cool. You know, kind of similar to how, you know, we started working together. That's how I feel about Passion.
Yeah.
It's a cool feeling, man. Being acknowledged by people that like you've known growing up.
Yeah, we go way back because like, so you're like officially a brand ambassador for the shop. I sponsor you. And it's, originally, I guess the connection comes from skateboarding, right? I own a skateboard shop. You grew up skateboarding, and now like you rap more than you skate, but I also dad more than I skate, so that's fine.
Yeah,
you know. But we have this cool connection through something like skateboarding that's evolved into now like being homies, doing a podcast together, blowing up in like the coolest way.
Yeah, no, it's really cool.
So I know you frequently talk about being, quote, forever grateful. Can you talk a bit about some of the people that have helped you get to where you are?
Oh, man, there's a lot of people I could probably go on for forever, but the people that first come to mind, my mom, someone very close to me, Bianca Winter, Kate McGarvey, Justin Anderson, you know, my homies, Mike and Logan, my homie Ike. I don't know, just so many people that I could keep going for days, but
right.
I guess the message behind Forever Grateful is just to be that, you know, just to take a step back and look at things from the big picture and just appreciate the people that are in your life, the situations that you have in front of you, and that could be worse, you know, and just to appreciate what you have and be a good person, I guess.
Dude, I have to say your mom's the coolest fucking chick.
My mom
ever.
is the coolest, man.
Yeah, when we went to that, I went to a show. That was like when we announced that you were part of the shop, and your mom was there hanging out with me a good portion of the night, like bought me beer, and like she's just the coolest fucking chick. Like she's right so at the front of the stage, jumping so and chill. Hopping. Yeah,
shout out, Mama Boulevard.
Yeah, she's the fucking coolest.
Yeah, she's getting a reputation around town, man. People like recognize her now when she goes out. And she just like I think it's going to her head a little bit. To be honest with you, I think it's going to her head a little bit. We gotta tone it down, people.
She knows she's the fucking coolest man.
Yeah.
That's sick. So I know you're always hungry, so something must be cooking.
Okay.
You don't have to give everything away if you don't want to, but what's on the horizon for Miles Boulevard?
Well, I kind of alluded to it earlier, but I'm going to be recording my next project, Update from Isolation. I'm going to be recording that in about 2 weeks from when we're recording this pod, mid-October. I'm going to hopefully have that out before the end of the year. Well, it's going to be out before the end of the year. I'm going to be taking it on tour, probably around the cities, Wisconsin, just kind of that region, but mostly just focusing on that. I got a couple other things lined up, some big shows coming up, but I can't really give that away yet.
Sure.
Yeah. But Update from Isolation, next project, it's going to be so... I'm so excited, man. It's been so long since I've dropped a project, and like I think it's going to be something that people really appreciate and can just vibe with.
Dude, I'm super excited for it. We're going to have to do lots of promotion and marketing with Passion merchandise all over the place.
Definitely. Oh, yeah. Passion all over that. Yes.
Let's round this thing out with a piece of advice from each of us. What do you want to say for our friends?
So when you asked me this question, I thought a lot about it. And something I've been thinking about lately is just getting in touch with my child self, you know? And I get so worked up in how fast everything is moving and creating and having to wear different hats at once. I'd say if I had any bit of advice to myself, which in turn, hopefully other people can draw from, is just to like be good to yourself. You know, be nice to yourself, because we get so caught up and so anxious and so just like wrapped up in the day-to-day rat race of life that I can't really speak for other people, but my inner monologue is very hard. Allow yourself a day to just relax. Maybe don't work on this project. Don't stress yourself out about a deadline. Just like be kind to yourself.
Dude, that's very wise. Wise beyond your years of 23.
Thanks.
And extremely modest. I'll give my advice. You don't have to take it, man. You listen to the podcast because you want to enjoy things, hear what other people have to say. Here's my advice. Hopefully it helps you. If you choose not to take it, that's totally fine. But my advice is to make friends with everyone you meet. Experiences are much more special when you get to share them with others. Some people may have their guard up, but the majority have good intentions deep down. The journey will be a lot more fun if you keep your circle open. Be the one to open the door for your new friends. You never know when one of them will open a life-changing door for you. What song should we roll out to?
Oh, dude, I got the perfect track. It's called SDS by Mac Miller. Stands for Somebody Do Something. And it's just like a super fun song about nothing but everything at once. It's a cool track. But I wanted to say thanks for having me, man. It was really cool coming through and being a part of this pod. It's an honor to be the first episode.
Dude, thank you for believing that me asking you to do this was worth your time.
Of course.
Hopefully everybody gives it a chance, because I think they'll find something truly special with it.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Passion Pod. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We'll see you soon.